Secure your tinfoil hats, buckle down tight, and hold on loosely as we soar over the rocky tops of the La Platas on a rocky mountain high, get sucked into the vortex of the Four Corners, and settle down snugly at mile marker 420 in colorful Colorado. I don't know why that was so hard to say. Today is Sunday, the 21st, Monday, the 22nd. For those of you across the pond and beyond, welcome to We Are Paradox Media. And this particular show, I like to call Late Night in the Rockies because it's, me in the Rockies. But I'm so glad you guys could join us this evening. If you're listening live, you're listening on Spreaker.com. You can also find us on Twitter, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iTunes, iHeartRadio, CastBox, Tumblr, YouTube, SoundCloud, TuneIn Radio, Deezer, as well as Podcast Addict. On Saturdays, you can find us on KPNL at kpnl-db.com. But tonight, I have a treat for all my guys and gals out there. Tonight, we will be talking to and getting to know the lovely and talented Miss Mea Savage. And she's actually Four Corners Paranormal Investigations Team Psychic, and her bio goes as such. Mea was born in an upside-down world. Her tombstone might read something like, "Try me." Multiple generation psychic abilities stem from both sides of her family, though she does not prefer the word medium. She is more than comfortable speaking to souls that have passed on, and for almost 3 decades, she has made contact with otherworldly entities, both friendly and not quite so. Because of her array of experience, she is a very compassionate ear, and she's not an ear, but she has a very compassionate ear. Oh man, where did I go?
I'm down with
yes.
that.
Yeah, she's a very compassionate ear. When it comes to the paranormal, Mea is both learned and grown with her mother, who is also a very gifted psychic, and her experiences range from human spirits to poltergeists to ETs. Her expertise is doubled when she and her mother, Kathy, are both involved. In addition to the paranormal, she also has fine-tuned knowledge of astrology to help better understand her clients and their surrounding spirits. And another thing that we're going to do tonight is, on our music break, we're going to actually play Mea's music. I'm super excited.
I mean, not to listen to it, but I'm super excited that you're doing that. That's so nice. Thank you.
You're welcome. What, Sleepy?
Yay.
Oh, I was just making a joke. I said, was it her one-hit wonder from the 80s?
Oh, no, but it might sound like it's from the 80s. Just kidding. I really love her music. We're also joined tonight. It's not just Mea. We actually had a bunch of people join us. We got Mr. Jim Morris from Scotland, and then we have the beautiful Jazz from Canada A, and then Dave Davenport there in Easy. And Mea's in Arizona right now, too. She's wishing she was back up here.
Truth. Sleepy, I love that hat. I just have to say, before I forget, it's a nice hat. It's holographic. I love holographic.
Yeah, I was about to say, that's what it looks like, the Back to the Future hat.
Yeah, I got it at a store called the Collector's Marketplace in Phoenix, and they had it in the showcase. So I said, I have to pick that up. It was 2020 when I got it. So. Only 5 years late. I thought we'd have more flying cars. We only have a few. We have driverless cars, which scares the bejesus out of me, but other than that.
Yeah, it's insane, and they've already had a couple accidents with those, people getting hit and shit. I think they're acclimated or whatnot to pay attention to other vehicles. They should be for people that cross the roads in places that they shouldn't, like jaywalkers or whatnot. I don't know, it's kind of like a double-edged sword. You're breaking the law, you jaywalked, you got hit by a driverless car, but at the same time, it should have protective things as far as that goes.
Agreed. I love driving. Like, I just, somehow manifested a new car, and I absolutely love driving. It's, my therapy. That and music, listening to music in the car. And so to have that be taken away by a car that drives itself it kind of sucks. I feel like it takes away your freedom in a way.
Yeah. I just scored a new car. I'm so excited. I haven't had a car in at least 2 years. You know, I've worked on my caliber off and on, and I've been trying to get my ambulance roadworthy, which I'm taking it back into the state patrol this coming Thursday to get it certified. That way I can send a letter to the last owner, who I wonder if they're even still alive. But 2 weeks I have to wait, and then I can go and say, you know, nobody said that, you know, this car was stolen or whatever the case may be, and I can get a title and drive that too. It was so freaky the other day. We were moving it, and even though I'm in a flat area and stuff, it's been sitting for a couple years with these repairs on it, and the brakes would not work. Not even the park brake would work. And it started to rev the engine as I'm driving it, and I'm like, ah! So I like panicked and threw it into park, and Vern's like, don't do that. I'm like, well, it was revving and it was going faster and there's no brakes, and I panicked, so I let him do it.
That scares me. That must be where it came from. I had this weird flash today when I was driving, and I'm like, what if the brakes don't work? And it makes no sense because it's like a new car. I mean, it's not new, but it had like very little miles on it. And so I'm driving, and then I had that weird flash in my head. I'm like, what if the brakes don't work? It's just so random.
Yeah, I totally panicked. Like, I'm only in a dirt driveway, and there's nobody in front of me, and no cars around me. Well, there's some parked on the side, but yeah, it just freaked me out that I couldn't stop. Even though I'm not going downhill, I'm not going to hit anything. It just threw me into an anxiety attack, I think. I was like, you do it. But I'm excited. I get my car tomorrow. It's a standard. It's a Subaru Legacy Outback, and it's a 99. I was disappointed because I've been looking at these newer model cars, you know, at least an '07 or an '08 or something. It's a 99, but it's very nice, very clean, and yeah, wheels under your butt, just to have that freedom, because I've just felt kind of trapped for 2 years. If I want to go anywhere, I can walk, which is fine, but man, when you want to go to town, you need a car.
I'm thinking about driving for Uber once I get back there because we're so close to the airport. I've never had a car payment before, and that thought really terrifies me that I have a car payment now, because I usually just buy it, you know, from an owner and get it checked out and then buy it. But, so I thought maybe I could just drive for Uber. And I think that there's only like 4 or 5 Uber drivers in total in Durango. And I know this from one of the Uber drivers. Ross's brother drives for Uber. And so that's what he says. He says he averages about 4 rides a day. But without even like trying, and he could drive more, but he just does it as a side thing. He doesn't want to make it like his full-time hustle or anything.
Yeah, I signed up to be an
cool.
Uber goober.
Did you?
Yeah. I didn't get to do it because no, my car broke down, so I couldn't do it anymore. And they have you have to have specific years or whatnot, right? It's got to be a nice vehicle.
I think there does have to be a specific year, but I'm not sure. I think it's like 15 years or something like that, old or something like that. I could be wrong, but I know like to drive for Uber Black, it's 5 years or less, and it has to be like a luxury vehicle. But I don't think there's much of a demand for Uber Black where we're at in Colorado, but out here there is. And it's the difference between $2.88 a mile to $8 a mile. I'm like, okay, I'll take the $8 a mile.
Yeah.
Please, Alex, for 1,000.
Hopefully we'll make 1,000.
Hopefully I'll be able to make my car payments. That's all I'm hoping, or like most of them. Half of it, please.
Yeah. And then I heard different horror stories about Uber and Uber drivers and people getting paid in a timely manner or not so timely manner. And then my mom, she was driving for the other one. What is that one called?
Lyft.
Yeah, so I signed up for that, but they're not even in this area last time I checked. I don't know if it's changed since then, but Lyft I heard is much better as far as management and ownership, as far as getting paid and stuff like that. But yeah, I stocked up. That's where I got my phone holder, and I bought so many different things, a multi-port charger, all kinds of stuff just to do that. And then it just kind of fell through, but that's awesome if you could do that. that'd be some good income. And I think either way, it's cheaper than the regular cab.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of cool. Lyft I prefer as a customer because I was an Uber customer for a long time. And then something happened with my account like years ago with my app. I forgot the password and it was like, and I couldn't get back in no matter what I did, and it wouldn't send me like an email link or anything. And I just remember having to download the Lyft app because I got locked out of the Uber app and I couldn't figure out how to get back in. And that was before you had like thumbprints on your phone and stuff. And so then I just like said, screw Uber. And then I started driving with Lyft instead. And it's good here in Arizona, but the last I checked, you're right, I didn't see that they even had a Lyft in Durango.
Yeah, I don't think we're big enough.
Yeah, and there's only 5, according to him, only 5 Uber drivers in the Durango area at all. So, and that's not even the town that we're in. That's the big town nearby. So that's kind of cool.
Well, happy second day of spring, everyone. Has anyone had any super awesome spring presents? I know we had a spring break this last week, and the only thing that I got from spring besides a break, which hasn't really felt like when I've been up every day going to different towns looking at different cars and shit, but I got a nice spring cold going on, so that's awesome.
I got a stomach virus, and my nurse friend, my whole house got this 72-hour stomach bug.
Fuck.
And our ranch hand was here, and he's in his 80s, and so he had to go to the hospital. And they tested him for COVID. He came back negative, and I thought it was food poisoning, honestly. And he's in his 80s, so I'm just like, okay, this guy, obviously, it could have been anything, but it's either a bug or food poisoning. But we were leaning more towards food poisoning. And then all of a sudden, Ross wakes up and he's like, I don't feel good. And I'm like, oh, shit. No, I do not want, and we had 4 people in the house at that time. And so then I got it, but I didn't get any symptoms other than just random nausea and then like chills, but no fever. It was the weirdest thing in the world. Like I would just but I didn't eat or drink anything but water for the first 2 hours. And that was the difference. Like I didn't get any like, the stomach, what do you call it? Excrements of the stomach, because I didn't eat for the first day, and neither did Ross, so it worked out. Yeah. Well, that's why I was being very, 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 very non-descriptive. I guess is the word. Delicate with the way that I presented that.
Yeah, stomach bugs are bad. And it's been crazy, like the flu and the cold and all these different numbers are down. But yeah, it always starts with Floyd.
Huh? So they're not down. Everything's COVID nowadays. That's the problem.
Yeah, none of us have gotten the cold this year until now. And it's funny, it always starts with Floyd. And last year, I think it was same freaking time, February or March, I got really, really sick, like sicker than I had been in a while. So I'm pretty sure I already got the motherfucking Rona, but yeah, it always starts with Floyd for some reason. He starts it and then he shares with everyone. So what a nice boy to share, but I'd prefer he kept some things to himself. Just keep that over there.
Well. Moment of silence.
I know. A moment of silence.
We've got a moment of silence for
my freaking spring cold. And it's been over a week. It started last Friday, and I still have this thing. It's like, go away. So, not bad. Like, I get the heat flashes, then I get the cold chills, but mostly it's just the sinus stuff, blowing your nose because, randomly snot starts flowing, and trying to sleep with this is just not fun. Hoy vey. So Mea, you were talking before about your music and how for you it's like therapy, but you don't have to pay for it, and then, you know, you get these special different side effects going on. Can you tell us a little bit how you got into music and where does it come from for you?
Well, I don't know if this is true for everyone, but I honestly think that for me, part of it is hereditary. Like my whole dad's side of the family, like cousins I've never met that I didn't even meet until Facebook years later, like even recently, like 4 years ago, I have all these cousins and I look at their pages and one of them is a musician slash spiritual guru teacher. And then another one is a musician. And then another one is a musician. My dad was a musician on that side. And my grandma on that side was a piano player. And I'm like, holy crap, this is crazy. Like, so I think part of it is hereditary, even though I wasn't raised around them. And then my stepdad growing up, he was like a like a stagehand guy. He did lighting and that type of stuff. And so I got into all these really cool shows at a young age. And he was a musician and he like a collector. So he would go to pawn shops and collect like vintage tube amps and Stratocasters and things like that. So I always was into that. So part of it's that. And then I just realized I couldn't live without it at some point. And if I don't play music for like a certain amount of months, like I was in relationships that were not very friendly when it came to my musical stuff. And after a few months, I would start getting these crazy side effects of like neurotic anxiety and depression and all this stuff. And I didn't realize for years that it's when I don't play music for a certain amount of time. But on the flip side, when you do play music, you can get kind of stuck in like a depressive state. Or if I listen to a song sometimes and it's like a depressing song. So it is my therapy. It's like a release. Like rather than crying, it's like I can just, because I'm not really a good crier anyway, I can just like make a random song and then it's released into the universe and it's kind of cool. But of course, you listen to it later and you're like, oh, I was in a bad place when I wrote that. Most of the stuff I release are not those songs that you will never hear. They're ones that I will not release because they freak me out. There's a couple of them that are a little intense, but most of them are kind of. I mean, they're dark, but they're not. They're a little more lighthearted than. I don't want to say dark is the wrong word, but yeah.
Well, but when you wrote it, you think you were in a dark place or whatnot. Well, and a lot of those songs, like people relate to because we all go through that stuff, and that's when songs become popular when people can relate to them, and feel it. Like I was talking to you yesterday, like it was getting into my feels. I don't know. That's the thing that that's the thing I missed the most when I was in boot camp was music. I thought it would be, my family, which I did miss my family, and I missed watching TV, but when that bus driver was taking me to the medical facility and he turned that music on so quiet so everybody would be quiet and listening, that is what I missed the most was music. So if I get stranded on a desert island or something, one thing I want to take with me is music, for sure.
Absolutely. Like without a shadow of a doubt, like that's my one object that I bring to Naked and Afraid, like you get a paw right? Or like a machete, like just give me my music, like give me like an unlimited like battery supply to just just give me my earbuds, like, and I'm good.
Naked and Afraid, that's so funny.
Well, because you only ought to bring like one or two objects or something like that.
Personal things, yeah. And then they let you take other
my
like survival
would be so
stuff.
Mad. Take one of my earbuds. You'll be okay. We can just catch the fish by hand. We'll be fine.
Right?
But yeah, what's kind of funny though, and I just realized this in recent years after kind of joining the paranormal group, and that opening up and not closing off to a lot of the psychic stuff and crazy things, is that a lot of artists and musicians are channels too, and that's different than being possessed. A channel is allowing something to come through you that's more of an energy than a being, and it may be a being, but it's not like a possession or anything. But you'll hear like those little kids with those huge voices that are just naturally or like they'll naturally be able to play like Mozart without like weird things like that. I feel like they're channeling. And so occasionally I will, a song or a melody or lyrics will come through into my head. And I remember coming home from Italy one time, and all of a sudden I wanted to do like Latin opera, like opera in Latin. And all of these Latin words were coming out when I was singing. And I was like, and I know that sounds like possession, but it wasn't, because there was that kind of followed me in Italy, one specific one. And he kept telling me about a place and showing it to me in my dreams and stuff. And I'm like, I can't help you. I can only try. And then, because I wasn't going to see the guy that it was connected to again. Anyway, so I started learning all these Latin words. And so that's why, like, my first album is Lux in Tenebris. It's light over darkness, or light in the darkness, or whatever in Latin. Because I just started channeling this, like, Latin opera. And I'm like, let's just go with it. Sure, why not? And I wrote down a bunch of words that were just popping in my head, and the meanings and weird stuff. But it went away. I think that's what it wanted, or it went away. I'm not sure. Maybe I just didn't give it what I wanted. But it wasn't evil. It felt just like a really old, cool energy, like a priest or something, like from like a long time ago. Like, and then I started looking up, like, Greek philosophers and things like that. And it just got me in this weird rabbit hole, and some really cool Greek and Latin sayings.
Yeah, it's funny, when I was pregnant with my son, I was pretty set on just having 2 kids, and then my son came along. And while I was pregnant with them, I kept looking at different Greek and other names for him, but then we just ended up naming him Floyd, after Pink Floyd. And then Lily was born, and they're like, what are you going to name her, Pink? No, that's a nice idea, but we're going to name her Lily.
How about Fuchsia? No, I'm just kidding.
Fuchsia.
Fuchsia's kind of pretty.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody name that. It smells nice, though. Yeah, it's so interesting, though, how different things drive us. And this person that you said you weren't possessed by, but you had some things coming through, it's kind of like a muse. Even though he's on the other side, he's giving you these different outlets. And I've heard of different people doing that, as far as writing things like books, or doing art, or doing different things like that. They get some sort of inspiration from the other side. It's pretty intriguing.
I think part of it is also you have your like crown chakras open, and like I had a few moments when I was playing with one of my ex bandmates who's a female, and we would be recording on an old school tape recorder. I mean, this is years ago, like song ideas, and we'd hear voices, like singing voices in the background, like of how the vocals should sound. And I had to play it for her. I'm like, do you hear the singing like in the background to the guitar part that we just made? She's like, I totally do. And we would start humming that melody even though we couldn't make out the words. Like, I think ghosts really like music, like, and not even, I think there's ghosts that are kind of like earthly level ghosts, and then there's these really, the ones that I like to talk to, which are more like relatives. Like they're not stuck on this earthly plane. They've moved on, they've crossed over, but they can come down. And I don't want to use the word angels, but they're higher vibrational beings. It's possible that I sometimes will attract lower vibrational beings with music, but I've noticed more, like, I don't focus on that, or like, that's why I don't listen to like death metal anymore. Like I did, but it was like, you hit this point after you like become spiritually aware of things where you're like, I can't listen to this, even just like violent rap and stuff, and just certain things like at certain times that you're just sensitive to, where you're just like, I can't, it's not that you're sensitive to it, but it's just like boring. Like you don't want to listen to it because you're not in that energy of anger and hatred and regret and all that stuff. So I think it just depends on the vibration that you're at. And then if something comes in, they can be attracted to it. But that's why you have to kind of be careful too, like what you're attracting as well. Like I can do a really good death metal scream. Like I could totally, do that, and I have before in my old band and practices and in a couple of songs, but we were all going through some torment during that last band, and that's why I think we didn't work out, and maybe we did attract some lower entities with that vibration. I don't know, but obviously it wasn't. It was a negative time for all of us, and we were seeing
Did you guys have a cool metal name?
Actually, no. We had because it was like electronic metal, so we had.
I've never heard of it.
Industrial. Like industrial
metal
music, basically. Yeah, like you know how Trent Reznor screams and whines and stuff. It was kind of like that. And I still I love Nine Inch Nails, but sometimes I'm like, Trent, shut up. Like I'm sick of your Taurus whininess. Like quit whining. Like you've made it. Like calm down. but there was screams involved. And so we were called Neutral Frequency at one point in time, but we only played like 1 or 2 shows in that band. And then I was in another band before that where we did, we had a Control Freak. What was the name of that band? I was the keyboard and backup vocalist, and they were already a fully formed band. I was just an additive member. But the bass player thought he was like Nikki Sixx or something and wrote all of the lyrics. And even one of the songs was called Control Freak because he was a super control freak. He was like, everything has to be sang and done a perfect way. I couldn't write my own parts or improvise or like express myself in that band because I was just playing what he wanted me to play. So that didn't work out. But what were they called? The Pleasure Victims. They're still playing, but they've gone through like a million different vocalists, I think they cut out having a keyboard player altogether because I don't even know how I dealt with that. He just liked to pre-program things and tell me what to play, and he wouldn't let me like break out of his box. And so he's like, screw it, I'm just gonna like pre-record all the keyboard parts and then like
you're like, okay, Trent, not even whatever.
Oh yeah, 100%. He was crazy. Axel.
Get him some grease.
We were like bubblegum synth pop weird.
I
don't know.
The most recent, not most recent song, but for me, that's been continually popping in my head with Reznor in it is the David Bowie song, I'm Afraid of Americans. And Trent Reznor actually did that with them, and yeah, that's been in my repertoire lately.
How about American
I
Idiot?
like that song.
What, Sleepy?
I said I think a more appropriate song right now for America is American Idiot by Green Day.
Yeah. No, but I do like that song.
I like Green Day, but I never got into that song, American Idiot, or anything like...
It's pretty relevant. It's fun.
No, it's relevant.
American Idiot.
I agree. It's catchy. It's relevant. I agree.
Well, you realize that was 11 years ago that they wrote that? That song's been out 11 years already, and it's just gotten worse. Welcome to the Freak Show, as George Carlin would say.
Sleepy's over there flashing everyone. Woo!
I'm trying to itch my back, with the shirt. See, itch the back with the shirt like that.
I'm laughing over here.
I can't reach,
Sleepy, if you stand up, Sleepy, and stand up like directly where you're at, and it will look like Tess has legs. I mean, I know she has legs.
That's funny.
I noticed that earlier, and I thought that was so funny because you're wearing a dark color. I don't know if it's black, but anyway. Next time you get up, do a little Irish jig. It would be so funny.
He's dancing to American Idiot.
Yeah, I'm listening to American Idiot.
You're dancing away to that song.
Yep. It's weird because he's
muted. You can't play it on
muted.
the air, else I would.
You're muted, but I swear I heard Mel say something. Did you guys hear that?
Hear what?
I did.
Yeah, you were muted, and we were just sitting here in silence for a second. But I heard Mel, plain as day. Sounded like Mel. Could have been somebody else, but your mic was muted, so that was really weird. Yeah. So weird.
Yeah, we were saying, don't want to be an American idiot. She went, oh my God. She said something. What'd you say?
I said, oh my God.
Oh, yeah, oh my God.
Yeah, see, it was her.
How did it come
Tessa,
through and it
T.
was
Campbell.
muted?
Cheers.
Oh, cheers.
Now get your chai tea and put some
I'm
whiskey in.
cheersing as well.
Cheers, everyone. Yes, this is an
Cheers.
adult show, so we use adult language and adult substances. My daughter.
Melody wants to tell everybody what almost happened the other night.
Uh-oh. I want to hear it.
Say it again.
Give me the camera, please.
Well, they can hear you. So. Please say, we're on the air live.
Wait, what?
Yes, we're on the air live. What did you almost do the other night?
Hi, sister. So I was playing with the candle, and there was this old receipt that I found on the table, and I put it into the candle, and it started burning, and it turned gray, and it got bigger and bigger, and I couldn't stop it. And I kept waving it around and blowing on it, and it got bigger and bigger, because one of the elements to making fire is oxygen. And I eventually managed to put it out, and that's the story of how I burned the house down nearly.
Well, you didn't burn it down, but I turned around, she's dancing around with this receipt on fire. My hand started laughing like Melody. I'm like, how is that? What were you doing? I'm like, what are you doing? Well, I got this a little too close to the candle. Well, yeah, no kidding.
Scary, huh? Fire, I swear to God, is its own life form. Out of all the things out there, it scares the shit out of me.
She doesn't have fire issues. My brother was a little pyromaniac growing up.
This is my little brother. I want to hear your pyro story.
You want to hear that pyro story?
Yeah. And then I'll share my pyro story, and then Mia can share hers if she's got one.
He had a penchant of going in the garage.
You know I do.
Getting coffee cans and putting stuff in coffee cans and lighting the coffee can on fire, thinking, the fire would be controlled. Well, yeah, but if you put more stuff in the can, he almost burned the garage down. It must have been about, I don't know, it was below the 8 years old. My parents were still together, but he got in big trouble for that one.
Ooh. Well, mine was, and I didn't remember this until I watched Rocky Mountain Bounty Hunters, because my little brother was on this show. And they went to this trailer out in the middle of nowhere, and they're going up on it, and all of a sudden, like, this fire just starts out of nowhere. And he jumps out the back window and goes running, and they're like, hey, John, why'd you do that? Why'd you burn that house down? And he's like, I don't know. Ever since I was a little kid, I just had something with fire. And it was like that in an instant. It flashed me back to taking a nap. It's my mom and myself and my little brother. My older siblings were at school, and my dad was at work for once. And I wake up to my mom screaming, and I go out there, and I see my little brother on a footstool at the end of the bed, just sitting there like he's watching TV, and this fucking mattress is on fire in front of him, not even like a foot in front of him, and he's just sitting there calm as can be. Luckily, Mom heard something or woke up, or maybe wasn't taking a nap with us, like she said she was. But yeah, just seeing that, I can't believe our house didn't burn down. Most of the house was made out of brick, so that might explain it. Plus, my mom getting on it pretty quick. But holy shit, I forgot all about that until he said that on that show. All right, Mia, we know you got some fire stories.
Well, one is like my favorite thing to do is like to take a lighter and then spray like hairspray on it. And then watch the little flamethrower thing that you create. And there was this one hairspray, and it made like fireballs because it wasn't aerosol, but it was pure oil. And
holy shit.
And so I would just go a little, it was like, they used to have this brand called like Swarovski or something, hair care products. And it was like shine spray. And I sprayed it, and it created this big old fireball. And then like our smoke detector went off, and it was crazy. But my other fire story was that my neighbor's house, the haunted house I grew up in, burned down. And they were close. The side of their house was within just a few feet of our backyard, like of our door even, because they were small houses and they were very close together. And so like one day I look outside and there's all this friggin' smoke coming out their window, and it's coming right over our fence. And I'm like, what the heck is going on, right? And so I told my mom, and then my mom contacted them. Apparently, you know, they already knew they were getting the cats out or something. And that house burnt down. Like, we thought our house was going to catch on fire. Somehow, miraculously, it did not. But, I mean, it was sad. Like, they had to come and, like, they had to, like, stay in an apartment while it was rebuilt. And thank goodness they had homeowners insurance and stuff. But, it was bad. Like, it, like, just burned down. Like, it was the biggest friggin' fire I've ever seen in my life, and it was like right there. I don't know how our house didn't burn down. Like, it was so close. The flames were in our backyard, like, and we had dry ass Bermuda grass and weeds. I don't know. They got it. The wind was just right where it didn't catch ours on fire either.
Fire mitigation. Jazz,
but
Jim.
Go ahead. Because our fence, I think at that time wasn't a wall yet. I think it was actually a like an old school, like what is it called, a wood fence. And I think that's how we paid for our brick wall, because their house caught fire and it burned down our fence, part of our fence. Kinda
wow.
Cool.
Heck yeah. Make the neighbor pay for it. Jazz or Jim, do you guys have a fire story you'd like to share? I have two more that I thought of while you were telling your story, Mia. Is Jazz still there? Look.
I'm still here. I'm here. I'm just quiet.
Fire! Do you have a fire story?
No. No. I'd rather not say it. I have one, but I'll tell you later.
Okay, we'll save that for the after party.
Okay. Yeah.
Mr. Jim. Well, it's pretty crazy, you know, it kind of picks and chooses, and even if the weather is different, like, it can still, if it chooses to go somewhere, it can. I don't know, I really do feel like it's a life form in its own. We actually lost a business. We were cruising Maine in this T-Bird, I think it was the T-Bird, and it was acting funky, so we ended up parking it in our detail shop that we had on Main Street in Cortez, and we parked it in there and took I think it was the Ford F-150 instead. No, we took the Ford back and took the T-Bird out. And I used to call it the Thunder Chicken, the Thunderbird, Thunder Chicken. But the F-150 had a recall on the ignition. We didn't know about it, and it fucking sparked, and it burnt down not only our business, but the business next door. But it's pretty insane, like, what fire can do, and it can create its own weather. Those fire tornadoes and shit, like, that stuff is scary. I lose a lot of sleep. That's probably why I don't sleep most of the time, is because I hear different crackling and different noises, even though there's not a fire out there. Some sort of noise, and I'll have to go and check it out. So I get up several times per night and check, because that is my worst fear, is that my house is going to catch on fire. And I do live in a modular home, so like it only takes seconds for those things to go up. So yeah, it just really freaks me out. More than paranormal and everything else. Huh?
You have a fire detector?
Oh yeah, I actually bought like 5, and I put them in random different places throughout the house.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, they were only like $4.99 each, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna take a handful of these, and I'll put them in random places throughout the house. So, has helped me sleep better. But when I hear those noises, like, you know, the crackling of a fire and stuff like that, and I look down the hall for some sort of fire light or something, but yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
So do you think fire can be controlled? Okay, so I've seen these videos of people like just starting fires on with candles with no fire. And I'm very skeptical, but I'm also not, because I mean, when we all went through our weird little witchy stages,
I never did. I was scared.
Well, I did. Like, The Craft was out, and I was a goth. Of course I did. I mean, it was very short-lived, but because, well, many reasons. But I'm wondering if there are those people, just like people who can read minds 24/7, or like some people that you're just around always when it rains, like little things like that. If there are people who can control fire, because there's a real like term for that, and throughout history, and I forget what it's called. It's like I don't know, the fire controller,
fire starter. Remember that movie?
Yes, that
was one of my favorites back in the 80s. But I knew this girl in school.
I just watched Warlock last night.
Yeah?
Yeah. I haven't seen it since I was a kid. It's pretty funny.
Isn't it? Like, you remember it a certain way, and then you watch it again, and you're like, holy crap.
Totally.
No, but I knew this girl in school, and I think her name was Willow. Like, I wasn't friends with her or anything, but during lunch hour when I was in high school, I'd go out front and sit under the tree and hang out with my friend or whatever, and the smokers would hang out across the way. I eventually made my way into the smoker crowd. But this girl came out, and she's standing there, and she starts waving her hands in different directions and doing these different motions, and everybody starts gathering around her, and she was, basically it was like she was controlling the wind. And I don't know if that's possible, like airbender or whatever, but she was really bending the freaking air, and she could have just been feeling it coming and like doing it that way, or she could have actually been doing it. But I've been interested in, you know, like you said, everybody goes through the magic stage, but I never did, because I just remember certain things my dad said, you know, your mom did this and look what happened to her.
I'm not even sure if it's magic.
Right? Well, isn't that like a psychic ability?
It could just be all the same thing. That's what I'm wondering. I'm not sure. I have experienced telekinesis though. Like, I had a friend who used to move cereal across the table with her eyes. Like when I was a kid, and your pineal gland and your third eye and everything is way more open as a kid. I mean, she may not even remember it as an adult, but I remember it very clearly. Like, she did it a lot, and it was freaky. And I remember one time she pushed me, and I flew across the room, and it had literally nothing to do with, like, she barely pushed me, and it just freaked me out a little bit. And I know she had some type of a weird telekinesis, like, to this day.
Like a psychical power, her. Like when she pushed you, even though she pushed you lightly, that psychical power pushed you hard.
Exactly.
I broke lights like that and shit before. Like, I'm done talking, or something like that, and the light breaks. And
that's happened to me before too. I think it's like a real thing. Yeah,
the fight ended at that point. We were both like, what the fuck just happened? Like, I didn't even touch that light, and it just burst. I think we're done. Yep. It's so weird how those things happen. Like, if you can learn to control that, and I think that's what Firestarter was kind of about. Like, this girl had the ability to, with her mind, like, do certain things. And I know they used to test kids back in the day, the government, figuring out, you know, these psychic kids, what abilities they had, so on and so forth, using them to remote view and other things like that. It's pretty insane, the ability that the mind does have. It's a powerful tool, boys and girls. Don't abuse it like me. I'm just kidding.
Too late.
Too late. Everybody's so quiet. We have a room full, so I keep expecting somebody to say something. So I'm quiet, but I know I can't do that because I'm on radio.
I just went to the Angry Orchard, that's all.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. Red's Apple L. Okay, so back when I first started drinking again, I started with Red's Apple L, and they actually had a Apple Strawberry L. And I guess this was like an experimental thing or a special, you know, brew or whatnot, but they shortly after quit making it, and I've looked everywhere. I think it was just a short period of time sort of thing that they do with different brews, but it was so good. The apple one is okay, but the strawberry was just the bomb.
Yeah. Same thing with Well, I heard about Angry Orchard for a while, and it's taking a while to get in the stores around here. It tastes like apple cider, carbonated apple cider, the alcoholic version. Because I don't like the taste of beer. I never did. And rum gets me sick now in my older age.
Rum
So
does?
this is just fun. Yeah, the last few times I've had rum, it's made me sick. So I think I'm
You're
better
not
to
doing like
stay
the
away from it.
coconut rum or some shit like that that's just all
No, I'm
basic
doing
syrup, right?
cracking. It's cracking
Oh,
rum I
yeah.
was drinking, and it made me sick the last 3 times. So I think third time's a charm. I'm not doing it anymore. So, and I don't feel sick or get sick with this stuff. So that's why I stay away from drinking. I never understood how people could just go out and party and puke their guts out and do it in the house. Never mind, man. It's
Yeah, I'm like, wow, that's a lot of fun right there, right? You had a lot of fun doing that. No. Why do you keep doing it?
yeah, not fun. I'd rather smoke a joint and do that. At least I have my faculties. No, we're not
Yeah.
hearing you, Jim.
Yeah, just typing to him. Look at the audio and video in the Skype thing, and that generally will fix your thing. I'm not going to go deep in your computer, but generally the Skype settings for audio and video will fix what's going on there. Yeah, Skype, Spreaker, all these different apps. Holy shnikes. You pay for it, it should work like above and beyond what you pay for, but it don't. And it.
So true. Once they have your money, they don't care.
Yeah. It's like my mechanic.
I struggle because I'm like, I have to pay for my Spotify and a bunch of my music stuff, and I'm like, why am I paying, and why are you not promoting so I don't have to pay?
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm new material.
Like
and that's why I never released my music until a few years ago, because literally 2 years ago, before I even like posted anything, unless I was in a situation like a band, because it costs money to be a musician. Everyone's a bedroom producer. Everyone wants to be famous and stuff. I only started releasing it because I had so much material and I do it anyway. So like that's my thing. But you're gonna make me pay to be a musician? I already pay for my equipment. I already pay with my soul. Like
I know. While I was starting the show, Microsoft came through and was like, "Oh, you just made a purchase. Billing at Microsoft.com. Purchase confirmation from Microsoft." And I'm like, I did not fucking buy anything, and I have like $3 in my account until tomorrow. What the hell just happened? It's probably, I think it isn't Skype a Microsoft thing. Freaking.
I think so. I think it is. It is.
Yeah, it's probably what it was.
Oh, no wonder why it's so flaky. It's because Bill Gates, they know, because we're talking mad beef about him.
Oh, yeah. We will be this next hour. We haven't really got into it this time, but that guy, I swear to God, we will get into this next hour. But I first want to touch on your music that's coming up here in about T-minus 5 minutes and counting. Okay, so the song list I have going on for the first hour is Lemurian Crypto, Let Be Your Home, Your Skeleton, and Our New Reality. So would you like to tell us anything about those songs? Home. Okay,
I'm sorry I sent you those. It probably, yeah, that's my mistake. It's supposed to be Let Me Be Your Home. It's probably the master copy, and it just, like, I got lazy and I just faked it.
Well, is there anything you want to tell us about these certain songs that we are about to listen to? Like, where'd they come from? What was your...
Sure. Yeah, all of them. I think all of them are on my album Lux in Tenebris that I was talking about. And mainly like the first one, the Murian Crypto or whatever it is, had to do with some weird like dream about Atlantis, where like I was in a ship and I fell into this water, and so the whole kind of thing is based on this crazy dream that I had. About like aliens like crashing into the water and Atlantis, and just some weird dream that I was like, I'm gonna write a song about that or something. And the rest are just mainly personal experiences, therapy, if you will.
Your Skeleton. I see that title, I'm like, that's deep. It's not your skin and your face, your skeleton.
That one's kind of based on like the ghost of your memories and the people in your past that kind of haunt you, or like still take a toll on your mental state, like even to this day. And it's about like not letting something that doesn't exist, like a skeleton that doesn't breathe, that isn't in your presence, like take over your mind.
Well, this break is a smidge longer than we generally do, but I don't know. I didn't want to cut any out because I just couldn't do it. So on this break, we're going to have Lemurian Crypto, Let Me Be Your Home, Your Skeleton, and Our New Reality. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this musical break.
shit that he brings anymore. You're mine. You're mine. Tonight. You're mine. In a sea of broken hearts, won't let you fall apart. We'll make a brand new start. When you're coming back, I wanna take a ride. I wanna show him love. I wanna knock him down. Come on with me to our new reality. You don't need all the shit that he brings anymore. You're mine. You're mine. Tonight. You're mine. Come with me to our new reality. You don't need all the shit that he brings anymore. You're mine. You're mine. Tonight. You're mine. You're mine. You're mine.
Welcome back, and thanks so much for joining us tonight on our Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. Tonight, we are joined by special guest Mea Savage, also has Sleepy Dave Davenport, Mr. Jim Morris, as well as JTO, aka Jazz. Welcome, guys, and thanks so much for hanging out with us.
Welcome, nice to be here.
I'm glad we finally
Thank
hear
you.
you.
Yeah.
Poor Jim, he's like, can you hear me? No, I can't. Got it figured out finally.
Hear me now, though.
Yes. Yeah, and you kind of got left out. We were going through fire stories. Did you have a freaky fire story as well, or no?
Yeah, well, very scary one. It was when we were kids. Whole gang of us went up onto the moor. And it was a bad time to go because the farmers there start burning the grass to get the charcoal into the soil before they start ploughing. So we went up there and we saw the fire and I said, well, we went to see what it was. Curiosity almost killed us because the wind changed and it encircled us. Nearly encircled us. And all it was opening was this tiny gap in the flames. My brother, big brother, they all ran through and I'm standing there terrified. Big brother said, you'll need to run, Jim, run. I got through there and we got out of there and back, and where we had been was quickly engulfed in flames. So we jumped up onto a dry stone dike because both sides were flooded, and it was going to the fire would go in there and set that on fire. So we just hobbled along this dry stone dike, jumped down, and took us onto where the main road was. We ran like hell. And that was scary. That was the closest I came to getting burnt to death. Not a pleasant experience. It always made me very, very afire, especially in a house.
Yeah.
And having a solid fuel stove as well. If I'm going out, I don't have the stove on. If the stove's going to go out, I just leave it out. And then if I'm going shopping, go shopping. And I always put it on overnight. There's always a fire guard goes in front in case there's any. Sometimes the coal explodes. You know, the solid...
They'll pop. That's
Yeah.
what scares me is the pop. And, usually we'll put a crack in ours. So, the oxygen can get in there and stuff. But it freaks me out because things pop out all the time. Like, I don't know how many times things have popped on me. It's insane.
Yeah, but the scary thing is if it does, and it's red hot, it can land anywhere and you don't know where it's going because usually they're tiny and you can't see where they are unless it hits. That's kind of spooky. But the new stove I'll be getting is not as big as this one. It's going to be a lot smaller, and it's supposed to put out quite a lot of heat, so that's fine. If you get a kettle on. So that's all for the future, mostly because we ain't get no money. We'll get money, but not to spend just yet. Get a big electricity bill to pay, and that's going to be £446. So I think it's actually paid. It will be paid anyway. The bank said I've paid it, so let's get that out of the way. But everything's going up in price.
Yeah. Well, there's different programs and stuff. We're on some. Like, I actually didn't sign up for LEAP this year because we were doing okay, and I don't like to take offerings that I don't need. I know there's other people out there that need it more than me, and I'm able to get by, and we're getting our own wood and other stuff going on, so I didn't apply for LEAP this year, and I kind of regret it because I know there's going to come a time where the government is doing these subsidies and stuff, and they will pay on that if you do apply for these certain things. So hopefully they got some sort of program or something out there for you where they can help you out because things are getting pretty dire.
Yeah, well, I mean, the best thing they can do for everybody as a pensioner is to stop taxing the pension, because if you've been employed and you've got a company pension, we've already paid 4 times. The government's taxed us 4 times on the company pensions. If they did that, that would save a lot of money. But they never do that anyway, because you're only a serf, so there's plenty of serfs.
Yeah.
And Boris Johnson's delighted that over 20 million people in Britain have had the jab. So we'll see how many are still alive this time next year. We just noticed that 2 medical staff, theatre staff, have died of this AstraZeneca vaccine. Caused severe blood clots. And, one woman had a severe brain hemorrhage, killed her, and the other one's still critically ill. So the chances of me getting a vaccination are, I would say, there'll be 2 hopes, both hope and no hope. I ain't going to have it. All they're doing is using people as lab rats.
Yeah, and they haven't passed this. Like, generally, drugs like this or vaccinations have to go through lots of medical testing, so on and so forth, before it's feasible to say, yes, you can legally put this out. It's like, it's a panic, so they're here, like, here, try this, so on and so forth. You know, it's insane. And I'm just sitting back and watching it. I kind of feel guilty, but I'm not going to line up and get the shot. And then I think it was you or Sleepy earlier shared the whole Bill Gates thing where he did actually say this will bring down the populace, it'll bring down carbon effect and all this other crap going on with it. It's like, really? This is insane. Bill Gates doesn't know the first thing about vaccinations, but he's always got his foot in there where he's trying to fix the world, save the world. He doesn't care what it does to us.
He's got no sort of qualifications of any kind. The guy that put the Microsoft together has got degrees in IT engineering. He's got none. I mean, he couldn't even come up with an antivirus system to protect his own crap software when it came out, Windows 95. And certainly if he died, it would certainly save a lot of methane getting into the atmosphere, because he's full of shit and that's all he talks.
Yeah, but there'll be somebody else to take his place. That's a problem.
Oh, he'll be lining up. George Soros.
And I've also heard that he won't even vaccinate himself or his family yet.
Yeah, him and his wife should be the first ones out there doing it. If it's so okay, yeah, you guys do it. They're not going to do it.
I still wouldn't trust it. It's probably water and B vitamins.
We should call these
right?
vaccine wars. What's going on now? Called the vaccine wars.
That's ridiculous.
The CEOs, Pfizer and Moderna, they haven't had the vaccination, and neither have their families. So there's obviously something very wrong there. If it was so effective and so safe, you would have thought they would have had the vaccination themselves and had their families vaccinated, but they haven't. I dare say it's the same as the rest of the people that are producing this crap. Scare and fear mongering, that's all it is. People want to protect their families, not so much protect themselves, but they want to protect their families. And they've been preying on that.
I don't know if you guys heard that male voice. It wasn't any of us, but there was a male voice come through. Did you hear that, Mia?
No.
You heard that, Sleepy?
No.
That was weird. Yeah, it's insane what's going on out there. Go ahead, Sleepy.
I was just saying, probably one of the three-letter agencies fucking around. They do that.
Right? One of the FBIs actually, accidentally took the mute off the mic and said something and then remuted it. FBizzles. What's up, FBizzle dudes? No, I don't know. Man, it makes my head hurt. Like, right over here, I'm getting a stabbing pain on the right side of my head.
Somebody has a voodoo doll. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know. That's one.
Yeah,
here, let me take that pin out real quick.
Might be the headphones, Tessa.
Oh yeah, I got this one on this ear, but I got this one off this ear because if I wear my headphones, I don't know, for me, I can't talk like that. It's weird. So have you guys had any UFO sightings, any activity? I don't know, for me it just seems like it's in an upsweep, but it's also very draining. What's going on lately?
Well, nothing happened here anyway. But then it's been mostly overcast at night, so that's when you usually see them. But what we are getting a lot of visitors is from Russia. The big bombers flying down the west coast. There's quite a lot of them going up and down there. But there's a bit, that's what's called the Western approaches, and Britain's got to defend that from the UK up as far as Norway and the Faroe Islands, Iceland, and that's a vulnerable area because that's where the North Sea oil rigs are all out there, and that's an asset. Now, if you can deprive somebody of their assets, you're really going to be stuck. But they could do that at any time. They wouldn't blow them up, I don't think. What they would do is Spetsnaz troops in and take over all the rigs. You can do that easy enough. But, as I say, it's, when there's a military exercise, you never know what's flying about because people are spying on each other. Now, last time I flew over to the mainland, the pilot said, we've got to climb up to 25,000 feet because there's an exercise going on below us and they want us up out of the way. So as we're climbing up, I see this thing, and it's weird to describe. It's like a long copper cylinder, and then above it, two thinner, above and below, two very thin cylinders. So a long one in the middle, and two thinner ones above and below. And this thing was travelling at some speed, but you could still see what it was. But it wasn't a reflection through the window of the aircraft. It was very definitely there, whatever it was, but it was gone very quickly. So you never know what they've got there. Everybody's spying on everybody when these exercises go on. You know, they actually stopped one of these, what's it they call it, joint force NATO exercises. And all the ships are signaling each other, what's wrong, why hasn't the exercise started? They were waiting on the Russians to turn up. And the Russians turned up with their stuff.
They're all hungover. We'll be there in a little while.
Yeah. Waited for them to turn up, and then they started there. But UFOs, nothing for a year and a half. When Bill next door saw those three big orange fireballs perfectly aligned over towards where that the standing stones are over at Callanish.
Oh, wow.
So it's been out often enough to check. Never been seen again. So if it was a man-made thing, or pylons, or power towers, or...
I think it is. I think it's, it could be a place of meditation or religion or whatever, where you go to pray or whatnot. But I see it as like a power source. Like these things are in a circular pattern and they're finding more. Like before we only had, what was it, like 2 rows or whatnot at Stonehenge, and then they found more due to technology and such. And then you have yours going on, and it's insane. I think it is a sort of power thing, and the way the grids and alignments and everything work. It's pretty interesting. I want to say intriguing, because for me, my mind is blown. How did they do this? How did they know back in the day? It had to be from some sort of instruction, you would think. But I think we've gone through getting to the mass of our society so many different times in history, and we've been wiped out every time. Hopefully we get it right this time, but I'm not going to hold my breath. I feel like we're going backwards.
The archaeologists in charge, the excavation over at that site, and Dr. Bates. The island isn't very big, as you can imagine, but he says we think there's actually 15 circles on the island. Why would you want to build 15 on a very, very small place? So I think you're right. I think that's what it's been. It's a place of pilgrimage where they come over for the solstice or whatever it was that they got to. But you think the amount of work that goes into making one of these things, a henge, as it's called.
Yeah, these stones are tens of thousands of pounds or more. Like, these things are huge.
Yeah. So they've got to cut the stone and dress it, then they've got to haul it and get it into place. And he thinks there are as many as 15, so I don't know. And you need a huge workforce, to make that number. You really need a really big workforce. And yet there's very few ancient houses being uncovered. You'd expect to find, the Stone Age huts or shelters or where they were built or constructed, but they've never found any. So they don't know how else they've gone about it. And it's 50 miles from the mainland across the channel. They call it a minch here.
Makes you wonder what's underwater, because the water levels have been throughout history. Makes you wonder if there's anything underwater. Makes me wonder if there's anything under there.
Yeah, well, the scientists are checking Loch Ness to see what the fish population was in it. And they used a sonar scanner. And right at the very end of the loch, up towards the Ness side, the sonar picked up a picture of a stone henge, 3 circles of stones at the very bottom of Loch Ness. So it's 800 feet deep, and it's been filled like that for 12,000 years since they say the last ice age melted. So it was built before, during the age. And the skeptic says, no, it's just the leftovers from the road construction that took place in the 20s and 30s.
Yes, it makes those perfectly circular things down there.
Yeah.
When you dump it, it just perfectly lands.
Yeah. Crazy. But that's all that's been happening. I've got the night vision scopes charged up, and the mono binocular little camera.
Mm-hmm.
Icons in the Olympus all charged up, and Bill's the same, but we check all the time, but it's never been back, never seen them. But the last time when I come up here, must be nearly 20 years ago, he was a radio ham up at the top end of the island. His wife worked at the hospital, and she'd finished a very late shift and was coming back over the big moor. And she said that these 3 orange fireballs just rose up off of the moor, lined up in a delta-shaped formation, then took off at high speed. So that must be when I come up here in 2002. So it must have been that time, nearly 20 years ago. And you can't say it's swamp gas, because swamp gas doesn't form up into a triangular formation and flee off at speed.
Right.
So what anybody's guess? Don't know. But it's the locals that only travel at night over that big moor if they really have to. Other than that, they don't use it at night. And here, anyway, it makes a lot of sense. Your streetlights go out at 2 a.m. in the morning and don't come back on until 9, because 2 o'clock in the morning you should be in your bed,
Or you're up to no good.
Yeah.
Maybe you're ghost hunting. Don't judge me.
But we wanted to go over to that site where that henge had been hit by the continual lightning strikes. It must have been about 20 or 25.
That's insane.
To go over there to see this one, because they built that one, and then they built this other one a couple of 100 yards away, and this is what we can't understand. Why build 2? But they were scared to death of this the electrical interference one. They don't know. And that was when all this lockdown shit started, because we were all booted and spurred to go over there and get permission to go in. There's a visitor centre there, and don't know if the archaeologists would be back. But just to get there and see it, and I've got an EMF detector. I'll pick up any sort of electromagnetic anomaly. And they say that's it, you can't go here, you can't travel more than 6 miles, blah, 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 blah. But when it opens up again, if it ever opens up again, that's what we're going to go over there and have a good shufty. See what's
you
going
should
on.
do like a Facebook Live or something, like a Facebook Live video. That'd be cool.
Yeah. I think Jazz is falling asleep again.
No, I'm listening.
There she is.
Well, that kind of reminds me of man, I'm just so surprised I never heard about this guy before as far as that the late night, supernatural dude. Man, I can't even think of his name right now. Art Bell. I listen to him, and unless I'm doing security or some sort of job like that, I will fall asleep listening to him. If I'm on the job, I can listen for a while, but if I'm at home and I'm laying in bed listening to him, I will fall right to sleep. He's just got this comforting, or he had a comforting tone in his voice, but I felt so bad. Like, I grew up listening to Dr. Demento and watching Alfred Hitchcock and different stuff like that. I never heard of Art Bell before, and I don't even know why. It's so weird.
Yeah, well, all his talk shows have been archived, so the whole group have done that to keep it as a sort of audio museum. The same as somebody did that for Mae Bracel. And her talk shows, it's absolutely amazing. If you wanted to call somebody a prophet, if I can use that word.
Right.
She was a prophetess, because even you go back her early shows, she predicted everything that was going to happen, and it did. And her last one, she died under mysterious circumstances. Jason knows more about it than me. Never any trace
Oh,
of
she
her.
did eventually? Because, like, last time I heard, everybody else around her was dying from these crazy circumstances, and she was living through it. I think it was part of her punishment through whoever was after her, the Men in Black, or whoever the hell it was. But, geez, oh, Pete, what she went through, losing people. Worse than losing your own life is losing those around you that you love.
Yeah. So that's where we are now. You know, you're definitely in the end times. Doesn't matter what the detractors say. That's where we are. The human race is turning against itself. What is it? Yeah, but wounded animals on its own ruins first.
Did you say, Jazz?
End of the world. Like it's the end of the world.
Yes. And as we again have been talking about time and kids these days, because kids take forever.
Yeah.
But I really do think it is. And it, like, when I was pregnant with my 21 now, I remember the end of the world and these different battles, and then I'd wake up and I'm on the big screen TV and just going, or something. So I was just hearing walking, but like dreams, and especially the normal alien like thing just seems gliding right now, and there's more lighting, more experiences. It's
Crazy. It's just, yeah.
It feels like things are coming to front or fold or whatever you want to call it, coming to a front, about to happen. And my 21-year-old likes to get into everything, and even though she's open to things of this, I've stopped, and then it just seems to be depleted. But it's just so scary. I just try to not let the kids know, not stress them out. I think it was...
Well, it's confusing for them. It's really confusing probably for them, eh?
Here in Marvel's brain, we went to see in Pittsburgh. Everybody is raising carts. They're buying everything, all the show. She's like, "What's going on?" And I'm like, "It's sold," and everybody like chicken with their heads off. Just stay calm. We'll get there. We're not going to do your day. So that was last year. Luckily, not like that. People are kind of calm right now. If there's another info, all the toilet paper would be gone, and then other things like that. It's like, why the toilet paper? I don't get it.
I know, like, that's the last thing about food, than wiping my butt. Like, I'm sure I had bowels, if that actually, I mean, you would want to have a dirty butt. Like, that's a tough everybody. I could just be people that are like, I think we're in this consumerism place where all we do is, there's so many paper products that we have, just like plastic and paper and things that are unnecessarily wrapped. Like something that is unnecessarily, like, I bought this thing today for my eyebrows. I couldn't even get the darn thing open. How much I spend on stupid plastic?
There's people out there that still do so much thievery. Even insurance, we pay for insurance and it's covered. We got people like pocket it.
But that's funny.
It takes open it.
Look up with the mascara.
I couldn't use the scissors. I couldn't. Yeah.
Right.
But going to a grocery store, watch all the fruit and the veggies with your hands, like, that doesn't make sense, right?
Agreed.
Yeah, we don't do buffets these days.
Eat.
Due to COVID, you have all these products out there in the open.
Yeah.
Where people can sneeze whatever on them. That's anything I really think about before. And I haven't bought fresh shit for a long time. It's just like shit. Even though we're still doing it, we just.
And safety precautions and stuff, but it's just like it's so wasteful. Like the stuff that we use. Like, I just started like getting those reusable grocery bags for $1.99, and little by little, I'm starting. Like, cause rather than having 50 bags to go with a couple ones, I like used to laugh at those people when I go to the groceries and they're like, "Do you have a usable bag?" No, I didn't know. Like, I'm a grocery. I didn't think of my life, but convenience, I like a bit more things. And if I'm just going a couple of things or like a few items, it's better than this plastic and accumulate, because I find them, and then I feel bad like throwing all of them away. So I'll save each time, like I'll save each time, and I look at them and I'm like, so stupid bag. I need to with these. It's just strange. I understand. I feel good about doing
technical issues going on. There's some break. Very trying to turn my camera off. So if you have your camera until the after party, if you can turn your camera off, that will help our sound quality. Hopefully it didn't discourage people listening, but turn your camera on. We'll turn it on here in an hour and 15 minutes. But leave your mic on so we can hear each other. But yeah, it's summer already. Sorry, me that you were up. But yeah, it's been insane as far as people do bring their own stuff. I'm like, wow, kudos to you. I just have a bag full of bags at my house where we Walmart and dollar store, and any bag we get, we put in a bag and then we reuse it, whether it's for trash bags or putting things in the fridge or whatnot. Like, we use it for different things.
Our reusable bags are made of Hessian.
Well, before they weren't letting you bring new bags into stores. They are now, but in the beginning of COVID, they were not allowing it.
Yeah,
weird.
people have been doing that for a while. That'd be insane.
Yeah. For a while, they're like, nope, you can't bring yours into the store. It's like, oh my god. And then
but then you had the opposite where they require you to use a reusable bag. I went to a grocery store not too long ago that it was like, we don't have bags here. It's just like one of the natural grocery stores. I think that's natural. No, one of them. I won't call them out what it was, but maybe I did. But but I was like, I didn't bring a bag because, I mean, I just came here thinking that you as a store would have a bag. I mean, did I assume wrong? And so that was strange. They're like, no, we collect recyclable boxes. I'm like, so I have to carry these big ass boxes.
Well, when you go to Superstore, they have no bags. No bags. You just take your groceries out in your cart if you have to. They won't give you bags.
It sounds like chaos.
Yeah.
It does.
It sounds like chaos in my back seat.
Yeah, it's like,
It's
take
about
your
a dirt
carts out
road.
to your car, put all your shit in there. It's going to be a free-for-all. Whether you take a right or a left, hit the brakes, whatever, things are going to shuffle.
We
better start drinking because that wine's going to be just breaking open.
Right.
Back seat.
Yep. Better break the label. Better do it. I'm just kidding. It's insane. I got these big cups over here staring me down. I'm kind of feeling anxious and like somebody's staring at me. Fucking big cups, go away.
Have you seen like the newest like currency with like it's like digital currency, but it's like digital assets?
Yeah,
and
okay,
digital
so
art and how much money that's going for. It's crazy.
it's insane. Okay, so back in the day, I bought Bitcoin because I was trying to buy weed seeds, to be honest with everybody. My bank card wouldn't cover it, my bank account, nothing I tried would work. So I had to buy Bitcoin so I could buy weed seeds. And I did, and it came as an art thing to my house, like brushes or some sort of art supplies, which was really weed seeds. And then I got a thing from Bitcoin that said, you went against regulations, we have to close your account, so on and so forth. And so I thought it was gone. And so it was like 3 or so years later, I get this other announcement, and it said, you have this certain amount of Bitcoin, we need you to close your account so we can move forward without you, on our coattails. So I go in there, and it's only, I think 0.027 and then an extreme amount of numbers after that of Bitcoin, which is only a small percentage, but if this shit gets up to like 50,000 or whatever per Bitcoin, I'm going to be able to buy my house. I'm going to be very happy that I accidentally still had some Bitcoin left. I didn't spend it all.
It's at 57 right now.
Holy shit, really? Oh my god.
Yeah, it was. It went up to 60 about 2 weeks ago. I have a certain amount of it as well.
I was
It's at
keeping track, and then it
56
started
right now.
going down, as well as my stocks, and then I was like, I'm just not going to look anymore, but yeah, now I gotta look. Holy shit, I could buy my house.
Do it. We could be rich.
Hell yeah, sister! I'm gonna start our own compound. No, I'm just kidding. Nothing, as far as weirdo, fundamentalist shit, but it could be fun. Fundamentalists, but fun, not weird, right? Fun and weird? Just kidding. What is that sound?
Me at the stove.
Oh. Well, we're about to come up to our second musical break, and on this break, Mea, we have Bury Me in Heaven, The Bottom Line, Singing to Your Grave, as well as Not a Phase. Is there anything you'd like to tell us about these particular songs?
Yeah, they're all off of Lex and Tenebris, except for Not a Phase is going to be, it's a single that I have coming out because I had a couple of people like it and they couldn't promote it for me because it was not out on all platforms. So it should be around April 11th. So that will be nice. So Not a Phase, Antidote for Savages is the music name.
Yeah, and it was funny. I think it was like a month ago or something like that. Mooney's like, did you see this music for Savages? Or was it Antidote for Savages? I can't remember. And I was like, yeah, I saw that and I watched it. And I don't think that's Mea, but it actually was, right? I was like, oh my God, it was Mea. I didn't think it was because it was just like, instead of you, it was like a character and it looked like you, but at the same time it didn't. So I didn't think it was you because I was like, she would have told me. But yeah, that was so intriguing.
That's funny. Yeah, I made a Facebook page for the music thing because I already had like an Instagram for it or whatever. I'm just really bad at promoting, but I had more people on my Facebook account accumulated than my Instagram, so I just made a little thing for it, a little page for it or whatever. Because now I'm getting better at the production side, so I'm like, okay, now it's sounding a little better. I'll just start putting it out there or whatever. I'm doing it anyway, like regardless of whether I like put it out or not. So I may as well.
Well, I'm just hoping like once you get back here, I can help you with so much stuff. Because I don't know, I love what you're doing, and it's amazing that you're doing that. But like I said, you guys, on this break we have Bury Me in Heaven, The Bottom Line, Singing to Your Grave, and Not a Phase. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this musical break.
choice. No record, no work, no job, no savings or money.
Just a choice right now between fear and love. Right now, between fear and love.
Welcome back, and thanks so much for joining us tonight on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. Tonight, we have special guest, Miss Psychic Medium Mea Savage, even though she doesn't like to be referred to as medium. Then we also have Sandra from BC. We got Jim Morris from Scotland. We got Jazz from Canada. Okay, so, yeah. Where'd Sleepy go? Oh, there's Sleepy. We got Sleepy too. And we got Sandra's Lovely Rain. So we're going to call this the rain hour. You can call it purple rain. You can give it whatever color you want, but it's very nice. This will help you if you have sleep issues to get to sleep this eve.
And the odd truck that goes by. And the ambient rainwater. Hello, everybody.
Oh.
Yes, you may have to mute because there is
silence.
a lot of rain.
Yeah, we're doing a moment of silence to allow the rain to talk. Oh, yeah. Oh, hi, Skywatcher. All right, so we were talking on the break about different people. Kurt Cobain, Smashing Pumpkins. I can't remember his name right now. It's just intriguing the different things that have happened to different people, and it's covered up because these are people that are in power. Supposedly, Courtney Love is some sort of motherfucking Allen? What? I know she's evil, but I never suspected her to be an otherworldly being. Hello?
Hello.
Just the rain.
Hello.
Purple rain, purple rain. I like it.
So I just found... I do too.
Go ahead, Mea.
Did you know that Curb? Oh, I was looking up this article and I found out that Curb, North American English, is spelled C-U-R-B, which I knew this, but Commonwealth English, except Canada, including Australian English, is spelled K-E-R-B, like Kirby, but curb versus curb, like if you hit your head on a curb.
It's C-U-R-B.
More likely
Curb
trip
check.
on a curb.
Curb check.
Curb? Yeah. Curb check. So, but if you are in the UK, it's K-E-R-B, curb check. Curb check.
Kirby.
I didn't know that.
Rick Kirby. Oh, never mind. That was funny, the different spellings, and I don't know. I watch so many different things on YouTube just to pass the time or sleep or whatever. And there was one on the discipline of a soldier, but the way they spelled it was D-I-F-C-I-P-L-N-E. What? How is that discipline? That's discipline. It's like Daffy Duck spelt it. Discipline is D-I-S-C, not D-I-F-C. Freaking weird how our language
like
has
you have
changed.
Like a list.
Yeah,
Discipline.
it's like Daffy Duck is like discipline, right?
Discipline.
Discipline.
Silly rabbit.
If it's a European S, it looks like an F.
Yeah, that could be it. Because it did. It totally looked like an F. I was like, what the fuck? And she didn't even say anything. Like this female that comes in and will rate these books. She didn't even say anything about the F being there, so that makes sense. It could be an S and it just looks like an F. It really tripped me out, for sure. Discipline.
Discipline.
You shall be disciplined. Brother. very strange.
I didn't know that the same guy was the voice for Daffy Duck and also Bugs Bunny.
Oh, really? That is so weird.
As well as Porky Pig.
What? All right.
Mel Blanc. Melvin Blanc.
Very nice. So, Sandra, has Heath Ledger come back? Like, has your ghost come back and haunted you anymore?
No, no hauntings, no people on my porch, nothing lately.
Oh, man.
I keep looking, but he's not there. He was just there once.
I had a dream about a guy that looked like Heath Ledger a couple of nights ago. It was really strange.
Dude, that's Sandra's ghost. I tell you what.
know.
Okay, she saw it first as looked like Heath Ledger, the way she described it. The long, flowing, curly kind of blonde hairs, tall, wearing a blue sportsman's jacket or some sort of blue sweater.
Blue sweatshirt and like light blue sweatshirt and navy track pants or sweatpants or something. Yeah. He was there because I was expecting my daughter to show up, and I looked up as I was walking up, and there was a guy standing there. So I thought, oh, they're here already. But I thought, wait, who's that? And then I looked for the vehicle, and it wasn't there. And then I looked back, and it was gone.
She's like,
so I thought,
who's
did I
that?
see what? Yeah, I thought, did I see that? Was that real?
And then later on, you said you were unlocking the door, and you saw the same sort of hidden figure, but it was more of a shadow this time.
Yeah, there was another time where I walked up to the porch and I was reaching for the door, and then I felt like somebody was behind me, and I looked at the glass of the door, and there was a shadow in the glass, and I thought, I'm not going to see anybody when I turn around, am I? And I turned around, there was nobody there, but I could feel it, and I could see the shadow reflected in the glass, which sounds kind of weird, but
that would scare the shit out of me.
Yeah, it was during the day, so I wasn't scared, but I just thought, am I seeing things? Did I see that? Is that real? I don't know. I never see shadow people, so that's my first time.
What the hell?
Yeah.
So what was your dream about this Heath Ledger character, Mia? Because I think it's very connected.
Strange. It looked like... That's what I do, too. I'm like, something really, clicked. I was dreaming, and there was this guy. He looked kind of like Heath Ledger, or like maybe Michael Hutchins kind of look to him, like the long or medium long
curly
to long
locks.
curly hair. Looked totally like that. And my first thought was like an older version of Vil Vallo from him. And the strangest part about my dream is like my whole dream, I was like, I talked to him, but I was like mainly talking to like his wife or girlfriend who was like going from place to place, like managing his affairs and stuff, and I was like talking to her. So like maybe it was some weird like one of them that was dead, and I was like talking to their left behind spouse of some kind. I'm not sure. It was very strange, but it definitely felt like some sort of an astral dream, because it was like people I didn't know living a life that wasn't mine, but completely felt like I was doing a job, and that's how I got it. Maybe I'll try to go back there like intentionally, because I couldn't figure it out, and it's hard for me. It was not last night; it was the night before, and so I just thought it was really, really strange. Like I was dealing with people that were alive in my dream, and then but that character that looked like possibly like Heath Ledger or whatever. He looked older, not that much older, just like probably about the same age as when he died.
Heath
or
Ledger,
like a little
but
bit
dead.
older.
You know
how.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He doesn't look as healthy.
But
he looks
I was
dead.
like with this blonde girl who was like his manager, and I was like going from hotel room to hotel room, like helping her like take care of things. I don't know. It was very strange.
Yeah, I just get this feeling that this guy that showed up at Sandra's house may have met her in the past. That she doesn't quite remember it, but he does. And, you know, the way she is with all of us, we all have this awesome impression of her, so I think he was kind of infatuated with that. And I don't know, I think he knew that she's gifted in a sort of way, so that's why he decided to go to her house, like next door where all these college kids are. It's like really loud, really crazy party environment. Nobody's going to dream the way they should, so he's going to go next door to where she's at, and even though the person that he might have been attached to before is gone, he's still there occasionally. Maybe even always, but I feel like he comes around and he's trying to gain access, get help. Like, I think he's just looking for help to pass on. He doesn't know what to do. I think he was surprised by his death. It might have been drinking too much or partying or whatever, something like that. What is that noise? Who is that?
No, that's...
I'm just wondering if it was connected.
That's my neighborhood.
Oh, how funny.
It's very noisy here. There isn't party goers going in next door. There's all the vehicles that go by because we live close to a racetrack, so everybody thinks they're in a race around here, and they drive with attitude. It's never a dull moment here.
Offensive driving. Let's take a ride. Okay, so we have about 40 minutes left before the show is over. What have we not talked about that we should? Thoughts? Questions?
I don't know. Any experiences?
I've been seeing the freaking numbers over and over and over and over again. Like 11, 11, 333, 222, 111 for the past few days. Like
1, 2, 3,
4, 4, 4, like to the point where it's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I was over that because that happened to me like a couple months ago, and I just kept seeing him all the time. But it's happening again, like in an extreme way. Every time I look at the clock or something comes on TV. Today, like Ross was watching basketball, and I just overheard the announcer say 11, 11, 11. Doesn't that mean something? Is that like magic numbers or something? Like I overheard like the basketball announcer say that just out of nowhere, and I'm just walking by through the living room. They are, and so they are, and but sometimes it just gets to be ridiculous, like the amount of times during the day that it happens, and it'll just happen for spurts of like a week, and then it'll stop for a while, and then they'll come back for a while. You have to kind of just decipher what they mean. But, I mean, they feel good. It's nice. I don't know.
Yeah, you notice numbers for a few days, and then you don't, and then it seems to crop up again.
Mm-hmm.
You start noticing them, and you wonder,
and then I saw like a shadow creep in my car.
I hate that.
Exactly.
I had a shadow.
Like, went by, like a huge shadow.
Yeah, I had a shadow person. When I'd go to bed and I'd lay down, I'd see this shadow person, and then it would move towards me and kind of through the bed. So I'd feel it on my knees and then getting closer to me, and it was like this tingly, sort of spiderwebby, electric sort of feeling. And I'm like, dude, get the fuck off me. Like, you are not allowed in this area. And I didn't feel threatened by it until it started to do that. And then it was obtrusive, but it's just like, dude, this is my area. Get the fuck out. You're not allowed here. But that was weird, because I've seen shadow figures for years. I've never had one since, I believe it was 2004, try to do anything to me.
I felt that tingly sensation, like, I don't know whether it's an astral parasite. See, sometimes it's just your crown chakra, and so, like, I'll feel it on my head, like I felt it all day today, and I felt it, you know, but since I was able to get rid of it pretty easily, I don't think it was anything negative necessarily. I literally just, like, pulled it off and, like, threw it across the room right before I got on this phone call. I'm like, nope, not today, and it went away, so that's good, because usually
not
the
in my house.
Persistent. I just looked at my phone, 2:22 or 22:22, right when I looked at the.
Yeah, I just saw that a second ago too.
I got cut off. That's so weird. But that's what I'm saying, like all day long for a few days to the point where it's like crazy. And then I'll have a friend just text it to me like it's 333, and I'm like, why are you feeding into my delusions? Like, stop it. Seriously.
Jeez, oh Pete.
That's a good friend though.
Now HP support is gonna pop up on my shit. Like, everybody needs to stay out of my bubble. I'm trying to do a show here. HP support assistant, go the fuck away. I do not need you. What the fuck? Alright, that's it.
Yeah, I had an interesting experience, I think it was last week, where my sister called me to tell me that a family friend had died. He had cancer, been diagnosed with cancer 2 weeks before that, and then he passed away, which I said it was good that it was quick. Mm-hmm. But I said he always said hi. Like, whenever I'd go back home, I'd always run into him and his wife, and he was always really nice, and he always said hi, and said he was a nice guy. And my sister said, yeah, he was a nice guy, and, you know, he was a good friend of my brother's. And after we got off the phone, I went and laid down, and I wasn't even asleep yet, and then I heard, hi, Sandra, in my head, and I thought, oh. And then I got up and started doing stuff, and then I remembered, oh yeah, I did say he always says hi. So I think he stopped by and said hi.
Wow.
Yeah. I thought that was kind of coincidental or
awesome.
Interesting. Yeah. So it just tells you, you know, they're always
kind of like
listening.
Mm-hmm. It's true. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So I thought that was kind of cool. If that was him, I don't know, but yeah, just all of a sudden a random voice. Hi, Sandra.
You're like,
okay.
Who the hell?
Now what?
Is that my peeping Tom? Who the hell was that? Hello, Sandra. That's cool.
It wasn't an Aussie accent, but...
Oh, I didn't mean to do that. But, it's cool that they feel comfortable coming to you. You know, they know that you're open. They know that you're aware and that they can come to you and say hello. And what a relief for somebody to hear them. I could imagine they try to talk to people and different people don't pick it up, but you do. So that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. I guess because I said he always says hi, he had to make sure he stopped by and said hi. So that was kind of cool.
That is, I love it when that happens. It's kind of funny, like, I was talking to, like, some of my dead relatives that I haven't talked to in a while. I can only say this type of stuff here. It sounds weird saying out loud.
Right.
And then, you know, two of them came through all of a sudden. I think it's part of the angel number weird thing that's been happening, too. I'm like, where have you guys been? Like, I feel like you guys have kind of abandoned me lately. Where have you been at? And they're like, we're working on something. And I'm like, okay. And that's what I heard. And I'm like, okay, well, and I totally disregarded it. And the next day, like, Ross is like, let's go look at cars. I was like, okay. And I ended up getting a car the next day. And then they were just like both so proudly smug of themselves. Like, that's what we were working on. I was like, oh, okay. Thanks. I appreciate it. I thought it was hilarious too. And it's like, it's not even like just a regular car. It's like one I've been wanting since childhood. And I'm like, well, that's so awesome. Like, that was so random. And then they're like, yeah, you should name it Magic. And I'm like, yeah, I already did. That's like totally weird. And then
magic
that
happens
like,
in here.
that song, like, oh, it's magic, comes on the radio, and I'm like, oh, this is just, you guys are so funny.
Magic.
They kept like totally screwing with me the whole time. I'm like, yeah, I know. You guys are awesome.
It's not so.
I just thought it was so super funny. They're like, we're doing something, we're working, we're busy, but you'll see. And I'm like, okay, well, sorry, you haven't even like really dropped in to say hi, and I just felt like you guys haven't been around much. Other than the weird crap in my house, you're the only ones I like to talk to. You know, that's why I kind of close myself off to like other things, because there's all kinds of weird stuff in this house already. I've seen it, and but it doesn't live here. Like, there's nothing like haunting it all the time, but there's just some weird stuff going on. I'm ready to go back to Colorado.
Yeah, this is in Arizona. I was about to say, is this in Arizona? So weird. Does it feel vacant, but it feels
is that
full?
House that someone died in.
Mm-hmm.
Is it what?
Does it feel vacant, but at the same time
The same one that
full?
Zach Baggins tried to die. Or tried to die. Whoa, tried to buy. The same one that someone bought, the same street that one of Ghost Adventures episodes, they had a house that was there that Zach Baggins tried to buy because it was so haunted. And there was a tragedy that they couldn't disclose, that there was a girl that died on the property and they couldn't, like, I guess it's an ongoing investigation or something. I don't know. Yes, I do too. And it's right up the road. So I tried to, it's literally, I'd go by it.
I just feel her trying to get away.
I can't not go by it. I see it and that's not to mention all the weird native activity and like ancient civilization native activity and weird stuff. I think it's just, I'm like, girl, like,
it's like
I want to know what happened, but I don't. Yeah.
There's like not one, not two, not three, but more things going on in this area. It's kind of like a vortex.
Mm-hmm. And I feel it all the time, but nothing. I think a lot of it is just energy, and like occasionally, though, I know there's something negative that comes through every now and then. And then when everybody got sick, I'm like, oh no, it's the water, and I feared the worst. I'm like, this house is demonic. We got to get out of here. I already know this story because I had
there's something in the water
before. Yes. Like,
Loch Ness.
It's the Loch Snatch monster.
Yeah, Loch Ness monster.
The Loch Snatch monster.
It'll plug your drains and everything. It's bad.
Yep. So watch out for him. He's scary.
It's pretty funny.
Scary hairy bastard. I don't know. It's just been really interesting, the different things going on and different things interacting that generally wouldn't. It just seems like there's an upsweep. I remember I was staying on the phone up all night with Jazz because she kept hearing this banging noise. And it's on the one side of the house where, yeah, she doesn't even have a camera on that side of the house. So I'm like, I can't leave. I got to stay here with my sister, make sure she's okay. And then we realized it's just the kid, like, kicking and hitting the wall. It was so scary for a while. Like,
ah! What is that? It's like I could hear banging, and I was like, it sounded like it was on the side of the house here. And I was like, I knew everybody was sleeping in the house because it was so late. And then I got up and I was like looking around, and I'm like, I gotta go look. I go, that's getting freaky. And then I talked to Shaylin. I'm like, Shaylin, I keep hearing noises. And she goes, oh, I think that's me hitting the wall. And I'm like, oh, shit. Like, why didn't you tell me? I just freaking out going, there's somebody banging on the side of the house.
I know, even though I wasn't there, I was with you, and I was so freaked out. I was like, oh my God, what if something happens? How do I call 911 in her area? I don't even know her fucking address. What the fuck do I do? But yeah, luckily it was just your daughter tossing and turning, trying to get to sleep on this bed that she felt was so different, even though it was exactly the same as she had before.
Yep. It was. He's like saying it was different. I'm like, no, it wasn't different. Well, I've had, like, we had a scary moment one night. Her and her girlfriend were here, and we were all sitting in the living room, right? And we kept hearing noises, and I'm like, but there was something else that happened, and I can't remember what. So we were all freaked out about that situation. So we were already on the edge. And so we're in the living room, and I kept hearing these noises, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what that is, but so they're like, you come with us, like, come down to her room, right? Because I guess they had to come and get something out of her room down at the end of the hallway. And I said, just go, like, we're all in the house, just go into your room and go get whatever, right? And then all of a sudden I hear
screaming so loud.
Mm.
Like, it scared the hell out of me. I was like, I've never heard these two girls scream so loud. I'm like, what the hell? What? They're like, somebody's got the window open in my room and someone's standing there. And I'm like,
Oh,
what?
shit.
Yeah, and I was like freaking. We're all freaking out. We didn't know where to go. We were like, so we all ran to the back door. We opened the back door. We're all standing outside the back door, and I'm like, this is crazy. Like, how about if somebody's like we can't go around to the front, and we didn't know where to go, right? And these girls are still screaming. I'm like, stop screaming.
You're freaking me out.
I know. And then all of a sudden you hear, Shaylin. And I'm like, what the hell? And it was one of her girlfriends
all drunk
trying to get in through her bedroom window. I was like, what the hell? And then those two girls, they run back into the house, into her room. I'm like, how do you guys know? Like, you guys were safe. Like, and that was what it was. Like, so, oh my God. We were ready to call the police.
You guys could have got killed just then.
Exactly. I said, you guys don't run back into the house like that until you're, for sure know what it is.
Like, I'm sorry, Mama, I was so drunk, I didn't know. I'm sorry.
But when they heard that noise and they came running down the hall, everything that was on I have this little fridge, right?
Mm-hmm.
That we keep all our drinks in, and on top of it was all this glass. It went flying across the kitchen.
Jeez.
Like, literally, it was a mess. The whole kitchen was a mess. I was like, oh my God, look what you guys did.
You're cleaning this shit up.
Yeah, that was kind of scary. I was like, then I talked to the girl in the front yard. I was like, why did you do that? Why couldn't you just come to my front door and ring the doorbell instead of go to the side of the house and try to get in through her bedroom window and freak the fuck out of us? It's kind of scary. Yeah, we won't forget that night.
It is scary.
It is. So that's why every time I hear a noise now, I'm just like, what the hell is that? What is that? And then that video, right, that I have of that scary creature, whatever that was.
That was weird.
It's still weird. We don't know what that is.
And I shared that, I think it was a couple shows ago. Holy shnikes. I don't know, but it looked like a full-grown adult male with kind of haunchy shoulders, not really a neck, whatever. And then he's got these sort of furry wings or some sort of glowing wing thingy-dingies going on. It's like, what the hell? It's like two different things that should not mesh that are, and it kind of reminds me of Bigfoot and fairies. Like, Bigfoot and fairies work together. Bigfoot is the brawn, the fairies are the brain, and so they work very well together. I don't know. That was so weird. And then you had the accident not too long after that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
That's right. So, I don't know. It was all really weird.
Could you share that picture in this chat so maybe Mia could see it? Oh, that's a cute spider. I just saw Mia share that spider.
I found these on Etsy and I'm just in love. They're so expensive.
It won't let me share.
I've
tried to share to this, but
let me see if I can. But yeah, it's funny.
I've tried to share.
I desensitized myself to spiders, and my husband came up, kind of trying to be sneaky to see what I'm doing on my phone. He's like, what the fuck are you doing? And I was looking at these different spiders and tarantulas and stuff, and I'm like, I'm desensitizing myself because I did have that incident when I was a kid, and I had a spider. I still have the scar. I can feel it right now. Lay a cone-shaped egg thing behind my ear, and I got really sick. Yeah, that's weird. And it popped out, but I was really traumatized by spiders after that. So generally I'd kill them. But after I desensitized myself, I was able to kind of relate and just catch and release. Kind of catch them in the house, release them outside. If they come back, then I'll kill you. But yeah, just trying to be on their level. Like, if I was a spider, I wouldn't want to get killed. They're pretty intelligent. They have auras. I don't know. Kind of feel weird saying it.
I love
like
tarantulas.
You guys have said before. Oh, tarantulas. That was my first scary spider
I had
experience.
one as a pet for years. I loved her. Her name was Chanel.
Chanel. Was she a brown and black? Or?
I had a newfound... she was a light brown, like a blonde with like black feet. And she was so friendly. Like, she loved to be handled, and she would just, you could tell, like, she just had good energy. Even people who were afraid of spiders liked Chanel. Like, I wish I still had her. My ex-boyfriend still has her. They can live up to 30 years if they're female.
Chanel number 8.
If they're males, they're...
Yes.
Right?
The
She's
number
Chanel
of legs.
number 1. I don't know what you're talking about.
Her
But
8
yeah,
legs.
I'll have to get a Chanel number 8 if I get a male. Oh yeah, I like that. I like that a lot, actually.
Yeah, my
cute.
daughter has a snake
She's
story.
so sweet.
On St. Patrick's Day, she phoned me to tell me, she said, oh my God, because she had all of her hair in all these colored braids, and she was starting to take them out, and then she told me on St. Patrick's Day, she said, oh my God, Mom, I had a boa constrictor stuck in my hair. She was visiting a friend, and the snake wound into her braids and then got tightened round and was pulling her scalp, and it was trying to go in further, and she was afraid of getting bit or having the snake wrap around her neck, and she's like, cut it out, cut it out. She was screaming, I guess, because it was hurting and pulling her hair, so the guy had to get scissors and cut her braids out so he could get the snake out. So yeah, don't have a snake. Yeah, don't have a snake around braids or dreads.
Yeah,
they can escalate really quickly.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
Yeah, it went in tighter and
tighter. I woke up, my roommate had one, and I woke up with it in my bed. But it wasn't a boa. It wasn't a boa. It was just a king snake. But I've always had a weird thing with snakes. I don't hate them, but I do have a little, like, subconscious fear of rattlesnakes because I've had some really close calls with rattlesnakes.
Me too.
And so they freak me out. Like, I
got lucky.
I don't know. I have this paranoid thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you just like run right past them and you don't even see them, and then the person behind you's like, did you realize you just ran past this rattlesnake right here in this hole or wherever? Like, I don't know if you've done that, but I don't even notice them. Like, I just go and I'm cautious of where I'm stepping, so on and so forth. But if it's coming out of a hole on the side of a hill, I'm not going to see that. And that's where generally they come out. I didn't feel threatened.
I was jogging on a trail. On a hiking trail, I was jogging. And I had to hop over one, literally over it, because it was in the middle of the trail and I couldn't stop fast enough. I jumped over it. It was like spread out, like it wasn't curled up, it wasn't coiled up, so they can't jump as much then. But I didn't have a choice but to go directly over it, and it was terrifying because right after I got over it, it coiled up, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I looked behind me, I'm like, I'm gonna wait or see if there's another way off this trail because I'm not going back by that thing. And then another time I was hiking at night, like right when the sun was going down, looking for scorpions because I've always been a strange one. And so I was with my friend who's into like reptiles and scorpions. We were looking for scorpions, and the sun was going down. I think it was at South Mountain, and I reached what I thought was a rock, and I got like a foot away from it, but it was a sleeping rattlesnake, and I pulled back so fast. I was like, oh my gosh. But my crazy friend just grabs it and pulls it from tail to head up, because he's a snake whisperer guy. And I was like, that was terrifying. I literally almost grabbed it thinking it was a rock as I'm climbing this mountain. Anyway, so I've had and then I've had them in my backyard countless times, and I've just heard stories of them coming up through your toilet and stuff, like babies. Oh, yeah. And if I look into my toilet and there's 8 baby rattlesnakes, I will probably end up in a mental ward because that's like my worst fear.
And those are so toxic because they don't know when to stop releasing. Like, they'll bite you, they'll release the toxin. They don't know when to stop, so they not only kill you but themselves. It's pretty bad.
Well, my daughter's not afraid of snakes.
I'm respectful of snakes, but I don't like them.
Yeah. But she realized that could have escalated really quickly, and it did. And luckily, they got the snake out without harming it. But she, in a few seconds, she realized, like, it could bite her in the neck, or it could wrap around her neck, or get wound in tighter, and then all the back of her hair would have to be cut out. But, yeah, she's lucky that
they can crush with the amount of... Snakes are made of 100, like, they're made of muscle. Like, all they are is one giant muscle. They're like one giant tongue. Like, basically, because we have like our tongue is one of our strongest like muscles or something. I don't know, but yeah, they're like a giant tongue or a giant penis. No, I'm just kidding, but.
Yeah,
but they
let's build statues.
Oh yeah, Sleepy pipes in.
Not worthy. Not worthy.
So that was her little scare.
I did have a
story
really
last
cool
week.
snake dream though. Like I've had some bad snake dreams, but I had one of a white snake that like was talking to me, and it was like a spirit guide, and I'm like, okay, I'm cool with snakes now. But then I've had some other weird snake dreams.
Crazy.
What happened? How's a crazy snake dream?
No, I'm trying to find that picture.
What?
I find it. I'm trying to find that picture. I said, I don't know where it's gone.
My connection is super spotty, so I'm just letting you guys know.
What? Oh, your
I feel like you
signal?
guys are cutting out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I keep moving in different rooms. Different places.
I was just looking. I don't think we're not on the regular after party, right? We could go back over to the after party and see what happens over there. I don't know.
Yeah, there's only 10 minutes left. There's only about 10 minutes left.
Indeed.
Well, it's really interesting.
I
saw
like
this
listening
video.
to the rain. It's calming.
I know. I keep trying not to drift into the dream realm.
That's what I'm doing.
I'm so tired all the
Hold
time.
on while I dissociate.
It's like if we could charge for the ambiance right now.
The trucks in the rain.
Exactly. Welcome to the Soundscape Radio. Your number one place for all of the ambient.
Never quiet moments here.
Ambient. No wonder why they call it ambient.
Ambience. Honk. That's so funny.
Cocoon.
Honk. Yeah, you can't pay for that shit.
I can feel the mud splashing on my face now as that car rolls by.
Oh,
cleansing me of my sins.
Wait till the racetrack starts up, then you really hear engines.
Yeah. I want to play. Let's go. I would love to do that and get paid to do that.
You know that a gentleman...
Could you imagine? What, Mia?
Paid to do what?
To drive a race
paid
car.
To do what? Oh, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Badassery. Let's go. Races and wrecks.
I love driving. See. I would love to take like race car lessons and get certified. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, it's like, let's see who can get in a wreck and come out in one piece. Let's go, fellers.
Reminds me of a co-worker in Toronto. She was British and she wanted me to come home to her place for lunch. And I said, okay. And she has a little mini car and she gets in and we start driving and she's driving really fast, weaving in and out of traffic. And I'm like, oh my God. And she said, oh, didn't I tell you I'm a race car driver? No. I was scared for my life. But she was good. I wasn't expecting that, though. It was like white-knuckling it.
Our Italian buddy drives like crazy. I mean, he's a good driver, and he knows how to drive like a race car or whatever, but he's terrifying. Mm-hmm. Like, just terrifying. Like, he'll pass people from the right, like, going around, like, not even in a lane. at like 120 and stuff. It's absolutely terrifying. When we went to Pacosa, I was like, this is absolutely terrifying because there are deer and elk and it's dark and we're going 120, 130. We were going like 120, 130 in Italy, like on these little windy roads for like, I don't know, probably like a couple hours straight. And I just like, I was in the back seat and I just laid down and closed my eyes and I prayed and I just felt like the ground underneath me, like, like I knew we were going so fast. And Roz was like, that scared me so bad. We were going like 120, 130, like all the way. And I'm like, yeah, that's why I like just laid my head down and like maybe like my soul left my body briefly for a while. Well, I just felt the vibrations underneath me in the back seat. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is terrifying. And I don't drive slow. I mean, but I don't drive like that. For sure.
Yeah, I know. Sleepy not too long ago had an experience on the road where he actually had some sort of premonition going on. I don't know if it was things coming through the radio or different things going on like that, but he actually was able to avoid a collision or accident or whatnot. Is Sleepy still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Sleepy D.
Yep, I'm here. Mm-hmm.
Sleeps.
You'll have to go back and listen to that show.
Well, yeah.
Sandra knows why I can't talk right now. I'm just hanging out.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we'll give you a pass, and we'll get back to you next time.
I've had quite a few, so I don't even know what year it is, really.
Who gives a fuck?
Okay.
No, I'm just lost in thought over here. That's all.
That's very nice.
Relaxing after that busy birthday party yesterday.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
those things can be destabilizing.
Yeah.
Poor Mia. She came through it good, though. Well, Mia, as far as music for Savages, is this a new YouTube page you started? Because I remember Moon's like, did you see this music for Savages thing? I think that's Mia. And I was like, I don't think so. Like, that doesn't look like Mia to me. And then I watched again, I was like, I think that could be. But how do people find you and your music on Facebook, etc.? YouTube, so on and so forth.
It's all the same on every platform. It's Antidote for Savages. It's spelled FOR, not the number 4. I thought about doing the number 4. That'd be kind of cool. But it'll be on YouTube, Facebook, or you can find me Mea Savage on Facebook, Instagram, and yeah, all them places. Spotify, iTunes, whatever else there is, a bunch of them. And that's what distributors are for.
Right? That's why I like Spreaker, because they're like, hey, you can go all these places.
Like, literally. I don't have to make 100 different accounts. Literally 100 different accounts. I'm not going to... Half of them I don't really use, but I'm learning. Learning about more social media. This is not my skirt.
What?
He's cheating on me.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. No, my friend Andrea was over there.
Now I got to cut him.
I'm gonna go confront him. This will be funny.
What the fuck is this?
Who started this? Your crazy friend that you brought home on St. Patrick's Day was running around in her skivvies? I don't know.
Good night, Jim.
Bye.
Be like, honey, I don't wear skirts. You know this.
He'll be, I don't know. It's got to be yours.
I know, it'll be funny. Oh, funny story. So one of my guy's friends, apparently his wife found these panties in the dryer, and she's like, "Who are these? And who do these belong to?" And he goes, "Well, they ain't mine." Like, apparently there was some girl, these are cowboys, so some girl came and did laundry that had her horse trailer parked outside or something like that. I just thought, obviously, funny. Well, they ain't mine.
Are you sure? Yeah, I found a pair of underwear in my house. Did a whole investigatory thing. Found out that they come from Target, aka Target. Ain't my size, ain't my style. Who the fuck's undies are these? Never found out.
Sometimes that happens, though. Like, just in general, when we moved here, we were Airbnb-ing our last place. And so all these clothes, like, that weren't even my size, showed up in my closet because the movers had put them there. And I was like all these clothes. And then I noticed Ross was finding men's clothes too that weren't his, and hats and stuff. I was like, this is funny. So we got all these random clothes. Like, what do we get, the lost and found of the Airbnb over here?
Yeah, friend showed me guys' pants and stuff. He's like, whose pants are these? I'm like, I don't know. You're the one who lets all your friends come over here and stay. I don't know whose fucking pants those are. But as far as panties at the end of my bed, like, somebody belonged to these, and these are not mine. So where the fuck did these come from? And I asked my friend who had given me clothes and stuff, like, did you give me some undies? Because that's, like, really weird, people to give you underwear. But yeah, just strange. But yeah, I
maybe
was
one of your
proud
daughter's
detective
friends.
Work. Better not be in my bedroom. I don't know. Very
True,
weird.
but
no, it was a large thong.
I would hate him to try them on and see if they fit him.
It was a tongue.
Take pictures.
Yes.
You like that? Do you like that?
And the next time I find one, I'm posting these pictures on Facebook. You son of a bitch.
Oh no. Life is funny. So many things happen. It's weird. You can't plan nothing. I don't try to plan anything. But we should try to get out and do at least like a cemetery crawl or something soon. When are you coming back home?
Soon, within the next few weeks.
Please do.
At the very latest, the end of whatever the next month is, April. Whatever the year is, I don't even care anymore.
Right.
Sky
time is just a concept.
Keep on.
Just gotta keep on trucking. Well, thank you again so much for being my guest tonight, and thank you Sleepy Dave and Jazz and Sandra, and I know Jim just left, but everybody for hanging out with us on Late Night in the Rockies. It was a pleasure to have you.
Yeah,
Hope
thank
to do it again.
It was fun. I think it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you.
Hopefully we can continue this in the after party. And I also want to thank all of our friends on We Are Paradox Media's Facebook, Spreaker, Twitter, iHeartRadio, wherever else beyond the Omniverse you may be listening tonight. I had a wonderful time, and I can't wait to do it again this next weekend when on Saturday, March 27th, we have the Paradox Paranormal Forum, and then on Sunday, March 28th, we have Mr. Bill Hauser, aka Can Dewey, featuring Psychic Chris Garcia with the Ghost Box Live. My gosh, I cannot stand my voice. I'm so raspy. It's freaking spring cold. You guys, don't forget, we're all in this together. Together we can make the world a little better, and together, my friends, we are Paradox Media, because without you, there is no us. And if you want to join us in the Skype after party, you can look me up at tessa.n.thomas30@gmail.com or call on phone 970-335-9596. Until next time, nighty-night, love and light. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Don't work too hard. Enjoy your stimulus checks. If you didn't get one, just enjoy the nice spring weather. Make sure you buy some allergy meds. But take care of my use. Night-night, love and light.